pizza.
Of being able to talk.
Oh my God, Hogan, are you okay?
Your son deserves that we do our best.
The ever-graceful poet Maya Angelou once said, "When I was 8 years old, I became a mute, and was a mute until I was 13. And during that time, I thought of my whole body as an ear, so I could go into a crowd and sit and be still and absorb all sound. That ability or talent has lasted and served me until this day." My friend Greg once said, "Holy fuck, is this dog's cock of a movie over yet? This is worse than the time my girlfriend shit the bed when I was spooning her." Okay, I'm gonna tell you what Mute is all about. But it's kind of hard because this movie made absolutely no sense at all. This movie was like watching a magician pull the most elaborate magic trick for 2 hours, and at the very end of it, he's like, "Was this your card?" And you're like, "You never made me pick a card." And he's like, "Exactly," and winks and walks away. So, an Amish boy gets his throat cut by a motorboat, and now he's a mute. Which is like, you would definitely die, but I guess not. 30 years later, that boy is now the tall and handsome Alexander Skarsgard. He lives in the future, which is almost a kind of cool idea when I kind of think about it. Like, you know, he's an Amish person. Do the Amish have, you know, a role in this futuristic world that's a total Blade Runner ripoff? But no, the fact that he's Amish does not play into the movie at all. The mute lives in this damaged world and works as a bartender at a strip club, but the strippers are female robots, and it looks really corny, and it's so dumb. He works with the love of his life, and that kind of gives the story some grounding and some purpose. And then we learn that she's saving up money for something, but he doesn't know, which creates some mystery. And now the next 20 minutes is just filled with terrible dialogue spoken by forgettable characters. In fact, as I tell you the plot, I just want you to imagine it is brutally and slowly moved along with shoddy direction and horrible writing. Here are a few lines that were actually written and actually voiced by actors. "I touched his dick and he jumped up like a spooked dog. Schoolgirls, baby, it's bitsy titties and smooth little pussies. Then they grow up. The next time you give me that stinky, I'm going to take your cup and shove it so far up your snatch, people are going to look at you like you've grown a third ear. I chopped your girlfriend's tits off and wore them as fucking earmuffs. Boy, I wish I could mute this movie." No, that one was me. The Paul Rudd character sees the mute fighting with some guys that were trying to grab his girlfriend, and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, don't beat up dudes in this bar, that's my job." The mute's girlfriend is missing now, and he's concerned. And we're at the 20-minute mark now, and we completely get new characters, but it's Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux, and they're fun and they're likable.
We just figured out today this was our ninth movie.
Ninth, we did.
We've done 9 movies.
9 movies. 19 movies together.
19.
And they're working as on-call doctors for criminals, so who knows, maybe they can save this movie. I know I haven't spoiled much at this point, but that's because nothing has really even happened. We're at the 40-minute mark now, nothing to report. Okay, I know that noir films like this are always evenly paced and often slow-moving, like Blade Runner, but they follow one character on their quest, and usually the characters and the world around them and the plot make it interesting for us. We're 40 minutes in, and there's been a pointless car chase and a few meetings with people that aren't even important that we only see for 4 minutes. There are 0 clues or hints for him and us. The mute character actually goes to the same person twice in 2 different scenes looking for clues. None of this movie makes sense. It is so boring. It is so confusing. This is cinematic waterboarding. I want this all to end. Anyways, I'm an hour in, and there is nothing to report. We've learned that Justin Theroux is a pedophile. He's really creepy with Paul Rudd's daughter, Jose. An hour and 40 minutes in, and I think something happened, people. So, the mute character finds out that his girlfriend was saving money, and she just left. But, hey, didn't we all know that she was saving money for something? Yeah, we did, but our main character didn't. Oh, okay, so Duncan Jones just doesn't give a fuck about his audience whatsoever then? Yeah. Oh, okay, but isn't he the guy who made Moon and Source Code? Both films that are unbelievably layered and patient with interesting characters, and both films having unique plot twists and satisfying endings? Yeah, but this was a passion project that he had for 20 years that no one would let him make, and he finally got to. Oh, okay, but why wouldn't anyone let him make it?
Mike and I wrote the original draft 16 years ago. And it was supposed to be my first film, and it's kind of dark, weird subject matter. I don't think it lends itself to the kinds of films that studios are making these days.
Okay, so Paul Rudd catches Justin Theroux being a pedophile on flimsy evidence. I mean, Paul Rudd should have known this anyway. It was kind of sprinkled throughout the film. But hey, a character learned something and a scene made sense, so I'm happy. Paul Rudd doesn't even condemn him anyway. He's just kind of like, don't do that. Also, whatever those two were up to has really paid off because they're crazy rich now. And I would have mentioned this plan of theirs, but I legit have no idea what's going on. So now the mute meets some lady that we've never seen and know nothing about, but she sees a picture of Paul Rudd's daughter and says, oh, hey, that's Jose. All right. And then, so through a series of flashbacks that we were never shown in the movie, like a good movie would have done, we now see that the mute's girlfriend is Paul Rudd's daughter's mother. Okay, so maybe that's where she went to go find her daughter. Maybe that's why Paul Rudd's in this movie. This makes sense. I can't believe it. God, I hope this movie's over soon. Now apparently Paul Rudd has drugged the mute and his girlfriend, kidnapped his girlfriend, so he knows where she is, and there's another 45 minutes left in this movie. The mute finds Paul Rudd's information by storming his old club. Paul Rudd finds out that he's being hunted, and I can almost see a direct line to the finish line, baby! This movie's almost over and I can start to watch something else. Alright, so the mute finds Paul Rudd in his hideout. His girlfriend is there, and there's a classic welcome showdown after nearly 2 hours of nonsense. And then, get this, the mute checks a freezer for his girlfriend's body. He lifts the lid. The music swells. You can almost see in it. And she's not there. And we, as the audience, knew she wasn't there because before that scene, there was a scene of her upstairs, alive. So that was so dumb. If you had just gotten rid of that scene of her being alive upstairs, that scene would have worked. We would have had, like 3 scenes now that would have worked in this movie that made sense? But no, we're at 2 still. Anyways, so they fight now. Paul Rudd gets a knife through his neck. The life leaves his eyes. I'm kind of jealous of him at this point. And cool, just another casual 25 minutes left to go. Now we find his girlfriend dead in a plastic bag. But didn't we just see? Anyway. And it's not sad, because this movie is awful. They did go a little bit original with not saving the girl in the end, which I'll give him props for. The score was actually kind of nice. I did believe that the mute loved his girlfriend. I mean, maybe this was a great movie. Maybe this just went over my head. Creepy pedophile Justin Theroux finds Paul Rudd's dead body, and he is bummed out. Maybe Jennifer Aniston saw this movie, and that's why she dumped his ass. Oh, snap! That's a roast, baby! You just got put on the grill, baby! I'm sorry about that. That was bad. Seriously, though, Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt are both single now? What the shit? Is this 1999?
I think he's trying to mount something to me, but I can't make it out.
Back to the diarrhea, folks. Justin Theroux finds mute, knocks him out, gives him surgery so that he can talk, but the mute decides not to talk. So I guess the only reason why he was Amish is because that was like a plot device so that he couldn't talk, but eventually he could? Like, what? This was a world with robots and flying cars and stuff like that. And it wasn't interesting at all to have a character I couldn't use any of it because he's Amish. Like, what? There's a good idea in here somewhere, but it's kind of turned out like putting the ring for your fiance in the dessert and then she eats it and then you're just sifting through shit for a few days trying to find something good, and at the end of it, we all wish it didn't happen. But I don't care because we are wrapping up. Justin Theroux's character has a monologue about pretty much nothing at all, just basically like, this daughter doesn't have parents because of you, shit like that. They're standing on a bridge over some cold water. And now our pedophile friend Justin Theroux wants an apology from the now unmuted mute. The mute does not give him an apology and instead grabs him and jumps in the water. Justin Theroux drowns. Look up anticlimactic in a dictionary and it just says the ending of mute. Okay, it doesn't, but that was still a good joke. The little girl looks over and the mute yells out, "Stay back, it's dangerous!" He uses his voice, and so I guess now he'll be her guardian. The lack of any substance for 2 hours or point being made is so confusing. I'm begging you. Guys, please don't watch this movie.
I'd rather kill myself.